What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast.
Boom.
I was thinking of putting that in there. I don't know if you guys just let me know.
I liked it.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. And today we got something special for you, or terrifying, depending where you sit on this day. We're doing a review and our thoughts. The longest running anime made into a live action, One Piece. Okay, no. Yeah. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, make sure not to fall in the ocean if you've eaten any of those devil fruits, and then turn it to 11. All right. So, today we're talking about One Piece, who was written by none other than Oda-Sensei.
Yes.
Okay? Who has, incredible work. And then, but we have the live action version, and and so we have ourselves here the cast, right? Who are Iñaki, I think is how you say it. Iñaki Gotti. You have Emily Rudd. You have mackenyu. Like he just said. We have Jacob Romero, and Taz Skyler. I think I jacked up at least two of those names. My bad. It can't be Leo if it's not a jack up name.
Yeah.
So, but here we are. We're talking about the live action. Okay, first and foremost, before we even get started, when you saw they were making a live action, were you A, excited or terrified? And B, I guess B will be answered later, so we'll just answer the first one. Were you excited or terrified that they were going to make the live action?
Actually, so I like a lot of live actions, except for Dragon Ball Evolution. But most of the time, I'm okay with a lot of the live actions that come out. So I was actually pretty excited to see it. However, I was actually terrified of the CGI parts, because there ain't no way half of these moves are going to be in the actual live action.
Right, like their special powers.
Yeah. Especially Luffy. His stuff stretches. Yeah, they have to literally stretch his stuff out. Like,
how do you do that without making it look too cheesy?
Or too like, oh, that's a computerized arm.
Right. Try to make it as realistic as you can.
Yeah. And to be honest, it should look cartoony.
Yeah.
And so I guess in a way, I was more like in the middle of it. Because I was excited that they made one.
Yeah.
I was not excited about how they were going to do all the CGI stuff and all the crazy moves. Even with Zoro's third sword, I'm like, how are you going to do that?
Right. Swords are not light.
No.
How are you going to hold it in your mouth?
Yeah, even if it's a prop, like in the show, in the anime series, Zoro can talk with it in his mouth.
Right.
And obviously it's fictional, so it's
easier
in that world. In the animation world, it's way easier. People will never know how it really works, or doesn't care because it's animated.
Right.
But
exactly.
in a live action, that's not the case.
Right. You can get thrown out real quickly from watching it, because you're like, whoa, that doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
I get that.
And yeah, what about you?
I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. Unlike is pretty much not every single one, but pretty much all of the live action versions of all these animes that they've turned live action, I've been super disappointed about. The last one being Cowboy Bebop, that I was not happy with.
Oh yeah, he wasn't happy.
Like
with
the cast was some of the cast was okay, but then they did artistic changes, if you want to call it that, and I'm just like, garbage. Very upset. The only one that really pops in my head I'm like, okay, that was actually that was done pretty good, is Bleach was pretty good.
I like Bleach. That was
Bleach. I thought they did really good, but there is a little bit of a difference between live action American and live action Japanese.
Yes.
I feel like the Japanese versions usually are a little bit better.
Yeah.
Even though they have a problem with their wig situation, they need to figure that out. Usually their wigs, you know they're wearing a wig, and I'm like,
right.
Do you not have good wigs in Japan? Is that what it is, or are we just going for this fake synthetic hair look?
You can tell it's fake. Yeah. I'm just like,
usually that's the biggest problem, that they just dye their hair.
Yeah.
Why?
It doesn't matter how long it is.
Right. Ooh, I just hit the table.
I was just like, if you think about it, like Renji's characters, red hair.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be huge, but I'm like, it doesn't necessarily. Just get like a bang, and that's Renji.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
you could have done a whole different. But like I said, Bleach was probably one of their better live action versions. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that.
Let's not
So-
forget Roni Kenshin.
Roni Kenshin was actually really good,
All three of them is
Yep,
pretty
yep,
gangster. Not
yep.
gonna lie.
but Japanese version again.
Japanese, yes, a Japanese.
All the American versions, which have all been pretty much Netflix, if I'm correct, that I can think of at least on my head. We have Cowboy Bebop, not that great. We have One Piece, which we'll talk about whether or not we enjoyed it, and we have Death Note, was absolutely garbage. It was a different story with the same name because it wasn't the same. I don't even know
Like,
what the heck
who allowed that film
to happen.
be released? Yeah,
Right. So that was Death Note is probably the worst. And I love Death Note. At least the first half of Death Note. Everybody only loves the first half of Death Note. After L dies, we all like Death Note is still a fantastic film. Although it's not animated and it is American though. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Which now they are making another live action of that. So hopefully that actually it is done right.
Yeah, and they're doing it.
Do not
they're
M.
doing
Night
it like how
Shyamalan
they-
it.
They're casting it like how they casted One Piece.
Right.
How they try to get it as close to Oda-Sensei's version of who the Straw Hats were.
Well, and I think I read somewhere that if Oda didn't like in the live action, if he didn't like something, that they changed it. So he, to some extent, I don't know how in depth, but to some extent, he did have a say in what was happening in the live action.
Mm-hmm. I bet, because I'm pretty sure that actually, I know for sure that the writers absolutely, like, they super respect him.
Well,
They super respect him.
you would think that's the case with almost any live action version of anime. Like if you make a live action, people, well, at least we assumed. I don't think we assume it anymore, but we assumed that you were doing it because you yourself is a fan and you know that the fan base would love a live action. But then in most cases, you go and just change it, and that end up upsetting the fan base. So it's like, why do you keep doing that? But it sounds like a lot. Like we said, Oda had some say in it, and so the writer's like, okay, let's change some of that, or the director would say, okay, let's change some of that so that it fits better.
Right.
So
Like, yeah, especially some of the creators like Steven Maeda and Matt Owens. Like, I actually saw a couple of TikToks with them talking about how, or I guess they were in Zoom, and that video was on TikTok. They're on Zoom. They're like, yeah, there's no way. Like, they all watched it. They all watch it. I believe they read the manga too. So they absolutely know the story, just like how any one of us does. It was funny too because I watched the series. And my buddy who has been watching the series since even before me, because I started this series back in 2013. And at that time, there was only like 600 and something episodes.
I was just going to ask that. I was like, how long have you been watching this? Like, where are you on the scale of like baby One Piece to I've been watching this since it came out in 1998 or whatever year it was.
Yeah, it wasn't me. No, I remember when it came out.
You're like a teenager, early 20s kind of guy. like in your age range of One Piece.
That's when I started. I was about in my 20s. Yeah.
I'm a infant, maybe a 2-year-old. Nah, I'm not even a 2-year-old. I'm a baby. Okay, I literally just started watching this. You know why I started watching this? When Oda came out, he said, "Oh, now the One Piece actually starts." Right? That everything that happened before this, which was like 1,000-something episodes, was all just a prequel.
Yeah.
to the actual show. And I remember watching TikToks of people just freaking the heck, like all these real. It's like, what? This is just a prequel. This is like they were just super excited.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I kind of have to get on this bandwagon now. Right. And I tried to watch One Piece before, but it was so overwhelming because it was like 700 episodes in, and I'm like, I don't know if I can catch up to this. And I'm not gonna lie, like the first season, the first arc is kind of rough for me because the drawing is really, really old, right? Which makes sense. It was like 19, I think it was like
99,
right? 99, 98?
98, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really old, and you could tell, right? So I was like, I just gotta get through it. And now I'm in the parts of if you're a fan, Sky Island.
Yeah.
Right, so that's where I am. But you are pretty much caught up with the.
Yeah, I'm caught up with the manga. I'm not caught up with the anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the anime, I'm only at 100 or 1,007.
Only.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I've been watching.
That's commitment, man.
I mean, within a 10-year time frame, it's not that long.
Yeah. No, you know those trends on TikTok, like why you would want to marry a nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like because one, they stay at home all day, right? So you know where they're at, and two, they're committed, and especially if they're a One Piece fan, because they're really committed. You know, they ain't ever leaving. It's like commitment. But yeah, so let's get into it. You know.
Yeah, for sure. The beginning, obviously, it starts actually very close to the anime, and you know, you see Gold Roger come out in Loguetown, you know, because he's about to get executed, just like in the anime scene. And you see a ton of characters that will show up later on in the series. Like I don't know if you saw, did you see the young Mihawk? You can tell it's Mihawk because he had the sideburns like all the way like right there. He had Shanks in there because you see the red hair with the straw hat. You see a lot of, like, you know, familiar faces. There's even I'm pretty sure Oda did this on purpose. I believe Crocodile was there.
Oh, I missed that one.
And well, because Crocodile, I don't know if I should tell you.
Well,
there's
Crocodile is dead. You're
past it. You're past that.
Yeah,
that's right.
what's it?
Alabasta.
Alabasta.
Yeah. Okay, so
I've already seen all of Alabasta.
it is just a rumor though, but it's a woman.
Uh-huh.
And rumor has it is that Crocodile asks someone to use his hockey to become a man.
Interesting.
So that's just a rumor, but there was a woman that looked a lot like Crocodile based off of the outfit. Yeah.
I need to go back to that.
Yeah.
I saw Shanks, I saw Mihawk, but I didn't catch the Crocodile one.
Yeah, it's the girl.
Interesting.
Because it's the girl, yeah. And then there was other people there too. There was like a blonde kid there, and I'm like, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, it can't be Sanji, is it? You know, I was just like, Sanji should be not born yet.
Right.
Like you know, everybody else. And again, I don't know how old Sanji is. I believe he's like only like 2 years older than Luffy, and Luffy's only 16, and Shanks was a child, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, it opens up like normal. But I thought, no, like what are your thoughts on the instead of actually having to dive into what were some of the takeaways? What were some of the great parts in that you remember from the anime? Because it should be still fresh for you.
Yeah.
It was not fresh for me.
Yeah, no, it was definitely more fresh for me, I would imagine. Because I watched from the first one all the way to Alabasta.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
In like a span of maybe a month.
Okay.
I was just like going through them. But on TikTok, I found some other guy who like said, these are the episodes that are fluff and you don't need to watch them. And I'm like, sick. And now I've just jumped through those.
Can you believe this guy?
I
watched all the fluff.
You because you had to.
No, I know how to look for that stuff that you're doing.
Oh, I didn't know how to look it up.
I watch. I never skip.
I can't. Fluff to me is such a waste of time. I get why they do it, but in any anime, whenever there was fluff, I'm like, why am I even watching this? It's just a waste of my 30 minutes.
I didn't understand a lot of the filler. The filler that that's
what I mean, like the fillers, yeah.
The filler that I don't like is the ones that when it's casual.
Yeah, I hate those.
When there's nothing going on. Like there's no fights, there's no anything that's pulling the story. However, I just watch it anyway just in case something pops off that I don't know. That's
my worry, that I'll skip one of the fillers that does have like a small little reference later on, or that I'm like, I missed that whole thing. Like, who's that person? And maybe I'll go back and watch them after I catch up on everything that I can. Maybe I'll go back and watch those fillers.
You won't go
Hate
back.
me if you want. I don't care. It's my way of doing it. But
I watched all 1007. You know what I'm saying? Actually, fun. Here's a side note. Back in 2013, I watched 609 episodes in like 2.5 hours.
Oh, you crazy!
Yo, I did it.
Did you fast forward?
I skipped all the intros and the outros.
Yeah. Thank goodness Netflix lets you do that automatically by just going to skip intro.
Oh, I wasn't watching it on Netflix. It wasn't there.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
And I believe not Netflix. Crunchyroll didn't even really have it. I don't think.
Was Crunchyroll out in 2013?
Yep, it was out in 2006.
Oh, really?
Or 5, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was watching all my stuff on Kiss Anime.
And, my best bud was in high school was like, "Yo, have you heard of Crunchyroll?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Check it out, dude." And this is back when Crunchyroll used to be a pirated site.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know, but it used to be a pirated site.
Same with Hulu.
Hulu was a pirated site?
I used to watch stuff on Hulu before it became
legit.
Before it at least before it started, you had to pay for it. Like it was all for free. No commercials, no nothing. It was just the episode. It was so great. And then like I don't know, maybe a couple years into me watching it, they started doing like subscriptions and stuff, and I'm like, you had to go and ruin it, didn't you? But So to answer your question, what did I think about the whole show? I thought it was actually pretty good, right? I did enjoy. I liked that for the most part that they left it kind of cartoony, right? It wasn't like a super realistic One Piece.
Yeah.
Which I would say that Cowboy Bebop was trying to do. Although Cowboy Bebop's like drawing style is a little bit more realistic in its views, I guess. But they left it kind of like all of the quirkiness that One Piece has. They left it in the show, in the live action, right? You had the first bad guy, Iron Jaw, Strong Jaw. What's his name?
Axe.
The guy with the axe in his hand. It's something Jaw, right?
His name.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, what about him?
Yeah, so like I thought it was like they left the Jaw situation. They left his ginormous freaking axe as a hand, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, Zoro having 3 swords, but if you took away one of his swords, everybody would hate this show. Like that is who Zoro is, right? That he's the 3 swords man, 3 handler. I don't know what you want to call him, but
Axe Hand Morgan.
Axe Hand Morgan. That's right. That's what his name
Morgan was his name. I was just like,
yeah.
what is his?
But yeah, so I thought that I enjoyed that. I thought that was great. The snails, I thought they did it pretty well. My wife, she said that it reminded her of a different anime that was done, and I, for whatever reason, right now I can't think of it. Like it was another live action. Man, I forgot what it was. I know she's gonna tell me.
Yeah, I believe they also made what is that one with the kids in middle school? One guy,
Assassin Classroom.
The one guy that goes back in the time into his 5th grade self.
Erase. Erase was fantastic.
No, not Erase.
I know, but Erase as the live action of Erase was so good.
I didn't watch the live action.
You didn't watch the live action of Erase?
No, I didn't even know it existed.
What? Sorry.
I don't look for live action stuff.
You're right. But
Who looks for that?
I don't know how we found it, but I recommend it. Like it's one of the actual
I love the
best.
anime. So
yeah, the anime was so good.
I read the manga too.
So. The live action was just as good. It's like they followed it almost word for word.
Oh, geez.
Like it's one of those you're like, this is what we want. Give us this.
But that's not the one.
No, it's not.
Is that
no. Because that one's very realistic. I can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. But there is. It did have that cartoony feel, which I thought was a good thing that they did. Right? Because if you made it too realistic, nobody's gonna believe it. Right?
Yeah, it's too believable. Then you're just watching a movie that's gonna fail.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Essentially, yeah.
I will say maybe it's just like a personal thing because I do. If I watch something live action, I expect it to be exactly like the cartoon. So if it's not, then it's gonna bother me. So there were some timeline things, and maybe it's just because I don't know. I haven't watched all of it, so I'm not caught up. So maybe there is somewhere in there that you see it, like future references where they look into the past. Mm-hmm. But like some of the Kobe. No, is that his name?
Kobe? Yeah.
Kobe?
Pink hair?
Like, there was a lot of Kobe. Ouch.
You all right?
Yeah. There was a lot of Kobe in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But in the anime, there wasn't.
Nah, not even close.
You see him when he first meets Luffy, and then you kind of see him a little bit once they pretty much reach the Grand Line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When he gets his first I
thought that was
wanted poster.
That was pretty brilliant on how Oda made the main antagonist throughout, because Garp also is not shown in that part.
Wait, Garp is who?
The Marine grandfather.
Okay, so
the Vice Admiral.
Thank you, because I was sitting there the whole time, and I'm like,
who is that guy?
Who's this guy? Like, I don't remember seeing him in the whole thing. He's like, was he in the anime? So he's not in the first season, or
not even close,
right?
No, he doesn't get shown. He gets shown up until after like the 7th and 8th, 6th and 7th movie.
And we're only and where I'm at, I think there's only five of them.
So he showed up literally like two and a half arcs early. and I'm like, and a lot of the stuff that he did was also done at that time, like
chasing him and
him in the water. Remember he threw the cannon?
Yeah.
That bro in the anime you're gonna love that scene. Yeah, they showed that part. They showed more. But it makes sense, though, for his character, Garp, to be an antagonist. It makes sense because throughout the anime, Luffy's struggles weren't the Marines. His struggles was finding his crew.
Right.
That's his whole
in the
thing.
In the first arc.
In the first arc of the anime,
East Blue.
And so I thought that Oda did put in a nice like push with Garp, because Luffy needed somebody to, I guess, to make Luffy move. You know, he needed
some more pressure. Some kind of form of pressure. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And why not? Who not better than his own grandfather, who is a freaking vice admiral marine.
Yeah.
You know,
When that part shows up, that he's like, oh, this is his grandfather. My wife looks at it, she's like, that's his grandpa, and I'm like, beats me. I don't know who this guy is. So yeah, because that was the whole time. I was like, I don't remember meeting an admiral with a dog hat, right? And that's one of those things that I did enjoy. In parts they could have probably done it a little bit better, but I did enjoy because of their characters in the anime, you can quickly recognize who they are in the show. The fish people. What's the
fisherman?
Yeah. What's the main
Arlong?
Arlong. I think Arlong looked great.
Yeah, he did. He looked crazy. I thought he was a swordfish, but he.
Because of his nose.
Yeah, but
I could kind of see that.
But he might be a shark.
I think he's a shark that just had like a swordfish nose.
Yeah,
or like a saw nose.
Saw nose. Yeah, I was just like, dang, are the bones out like that? I was like, I don't remember the last time I saw a swordfish. I mean, I don't see sharks. Don't got that nose. I'm gonna let you know right now. Sharks do not have that nose.
No.
Most
of them don't have
from
noses.
an island. Swam with them, but
I ain't swimming
I
sharks.
haven't seen. Well, the baby sharks.
I guess
They're like this
till
big.
they eat my freaking fingers and whatnot. I ain't doing that. You crazy? Arlong, I thought they did a great job. His two like minions. I forgot their names too.
Oh, Chu.
Yeah, Chu and.
His lieutenant. I forgot his lieutenant's name. But yeah, what about him?
I thought they also looked really good. The karate one was much better than the blonde hair. I think Chu was the blonde hair, right?
Chu was the one with the big lips.
Oh, Chu was good. I think he looked very much like his anime character. The other one that spit out the.
That's Chu.
Oh, that's Chu.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. That one.
He's the one with the big lips.
I thought he was okay. He kind of resembled his character, but the other one, the karate one.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Definitely looked like his character. So I thought the fish people were done pretty well. Rudd, what's her name?
Emily Rudd. Nami.
Emily Rudd. I could see her as
Nami.
Nami. She did a really good job.
She did great.
Although I will say that for this part of the arc, I don't know how she is later, right? But for this part of the arc, I think she's too bad. Like a bad mofo. Like she was really good at fighting. You don't really see that a lot in the anime version where I'm at the beginning, right? You do see her fight every once in a while, and you're like, okay, she knows how to fight. She got her little staff, and she whoops people. Yeah, she knows how to fight. But you don't see that a lot in the East Blue.
Yes, no, because a lot of the people that she would have to fight are very powerful.
Right.
So,
but in the show she does, and I'm like, oh, sure, why not?
Yeah, I remember that when they were in the
Marine
map room.
Yeah.
And she just busts out that little bow staff, and
which was cool. I liked it. I'm like, nice. Cool.
I was like, oh, that's right. She did have a staff. She
used
to rock. And then I'm like, wait, does she rock it now or later? Yeah. Seeing Nami being able to hold her own makes sense because Nami she kind of has to. She would run away, she, like Usopp. They would run away.
Yeah.
But if they had to, they will. If Luffy's around, she don't. You know what I mean? Like at least that's the Nami that I know.
Yeah, right.
Nami's like, nah. Captain got it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so he protects her. And that's what I thought was really cool to see Nami and Luffy actually do meet when they meet in the map room. And she's like, I want to, gonna take you in or whatever. He's like, you're not a Marine. What do you mean?
Talking about Luffy, how did you like the person who played him?
Sure, he looks just like him. Iñaki. Yeah, the guy who played it, the actor. Yeah, he for sure looks like Luffy. He looks like Luffy. He has that air of Luffy. The accent kind of throws it off a little bit. But then again, I don't really watch dub all too much. And in Japanese...
Dub, he has an American accent.
Yeah.
All the characters have American accents in the dub. I watch the dub because I'm just not going to try to read all this stuff. So, but...
It's not that hard.
But they all have American accents.
When I watch anime, I have Sharingan, you know?
I do not. I have Dyslexicon. But
I thought he was a good pick. He looks just like him, and he has that innocence about him. However, they make him a little too serious sometimes.
In the live action,
Inaki, yeah. I don't know. It's a little weird, but it's he gets serious in a very innocent way, like in episode 7. At the end of episode 7, where Nami asks for help, he was like whispering to himself. He's like, "Of course I." And then,
and
of course I will.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't like that part.
I didn't hear the dub part, or I don't remember the dub part because I did watch it in dub. I switched over at like 2:48, and then that's where I watched the rest in Japanese. However, I don't remember him doing the whispering to himself, but I do remember him screaming it out. Of course I will. And whenever I watch the reactions, it's always in Japanese. So when I saw that part, I was just like, Luffy always that serious? And then when she's like, I told you, you don't know anything going on. He's like, I don't. And then she's like, something along those lines of, you don't belong here. In the anime, she asks the same question. She's like, you don't know what's going on? I'm like, nope. He's like, And then he's like, I don't know. Like, he's like very aloof.
Yeah.
About it.
Very aloofy.
Yeah, aloofy. And when, he gives the hat to Nami, he does the same thing. I don't know the Japanese saying, but when he does that, like that scene right there, actually, that's one of the actually, that scene is the reason I started One Piece in 2013. My brother told me, he's like, hey, have you ever watched One Piece? I was like, nah, that looked garbage. I was just like, that animation is doo-doo. And this is exactly
here you
what
are 10 years later.
And I was just like, ugh, And so he's like, no, dude, he's trying to find a crew and he's building his team. I love that aspect of team building. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yo, check this out. And it's that same scene. She's like, Arlong, cutting her arm up. Luffy's like, yo, she asks for help, puts the hat down, and he's like, of course I will, whatever. And then he walks towards Arlong Park. And then on his way there, he sees his boys. He sees Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp chilling, crisscross applesauce on the ground.
Yeah.
Sanji smoking a cigarette, and you got
Zoro
just chilling there on the well. And I'm like,
that scene was great. Yeah, that was a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they start walking, and that's when I believe you hear the first drums of liberation. Dum, 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 dum. And I was just like, this is legit. I'm going to watch it. And then I forget, I think the episode was like 35.
Yeah,
38.
somewhere in there. Uh-huh.
And I watched up to that point in like 3 days or maybe 2 days. And I'm like, hey, bro, I passed you. He's like, what? Barely got any sleep around that time. It was magnificent. I watched like maybe 20 episodes a day around that.
Dang.
Yeah. Because I mean, like I said, I skipped the intro, I skipped the outro, and I never really skipped a lot of the parts. So yeah, I mean.
So I do agree with you. I think aesthetically, Iñaki portrays Luffy very well. Mm-hmm. And he looks so much more like him as the episodes progressed. I was like, oh, you really do look like Luffy now. Like, yeah. I see Luffy in you. The character, the personality, I do agree. It was like
more mature, right?
Something about it was off, but I think it's because Luffy's just a hard character to portray live action. I think if they tried, it might have come out too annoying, because he can be super annoying. Like sometimes I'm just like, Luffy, just shut up, bro.
Yeah, and he's battle hungry.
Yeah.
Too.
So, but I do agree. Like there were certain things that should have been done right. Like I do. It should have been like, nope.
Yeah.
Be like,
what? Yeah.
Clueless or whatever, aloof or whatever you want to, right? Yeah, I do agree. I think that was part of the things that were like.
I just don't know how that would relay with the other parts prior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, but they would have to have kept that same kind of attitude from the beginning. And it was kind of hard to do that.
Like, especially when Zoro was like, when he was going to fight Mihawk. And he was telling Luffy, he's like, Luffy, what is the first thing I told you? And he's like, I'm not going to play pirates with you. No, not that.
Yeah.
He's like, I killed your kind for a living. No. Oh, you promised someone a long time ago that you dreamed to be the greatest swordsman. And I'm like, okay, that's Luffy.
Right.
I'm like, that's
exactly.
Luffy. And the way he went about it too made sense too. He was just like his cadence for it, like I don't want to play pirates with you. Like,
yeah.
And he said it as if it's just in conversation, which makes it even funnier.
Right.
Zoro's like, no.
I think that was the thing. Like, it was like sometimes it was hit and miss with Luffy. Yeah. Like sometimes it was Luffy, and then sometimes it wasn't. But I think it's just because Luffy as a character is kind of a hard character to try to portray. Zoro, I think whatever his name is, Mackenyu did a great job as Zoro. I personally think he played Zoro really well. But Zoro isn't a hard character to play like Luffy is. Zoro is very introverted, very centered, very quiet, very serious.
Quiet. He's not that quiet. In the anime, he's a lot louder.
He gets louder. But in the first one, he's just like, all right, let's go do this or whatever. He was. I think he's a lot more like he's definitely the calm in the storm.
Well, when it comes to
until he wants to be the greatest swordsman.
Yeah.
Then he loses his mind.
He doesn't. I don't know. I didn't realize until I went back to a couple of earlier episodes that Zoro actually talks a lot more than in live action.
Oh,
he talks a lot more in the anime.
It's true. I do agree. Yeah, you're right.
And he's a little louder too, and he's more expressive. In this one, he's a little bit more darker, which makes sense because remember how Iñaki does Luffy does his like gum gum whip.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What's that? Gum 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 whip?" He's like, "Yeah, all great fighters call out their fighting."
Yeah.
And then Sanji does it. He's like, "Moten shot." He's
Yeah.
like, "Moten shot." All great fighters call out.
Yeah, I started laughing when they both did it. I'm like, that's funny.
He's like, "Yeah, you'll fit right in." I was just like, I'm pretty sure Zoro has onigiri, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, so in this case he doesn't.
Right, he's too cool for
Yeah.
that.
And but I hope they bring that part. But then again, he can't say onigiri with a yeah. Onigiri.
You can kind of say it.
Yeah, but like that's only because I'm putting my like half out. Oh, I don't know if you knew this, but if you were to watch One Piece in the Japanese dub, it is the original characters of the 5. So the original voice actors from the anime,
Yeah.
they do the Japanese dub for the first
For the live
original 5,
action?
for the live action.
That's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. That they hold, that's awesome.
Yeah. My
I
brother
didn't know
told
that.
me about it. So certain scenes we'd rewatch.
In Japanese.
Yeah, and so
And you're just sitting there going, oh yeah.
yeah, wow. Yeah, and I'm just like I hope that was Oda's idea because I believe it was him. If not him, it was definitely those guys that
Right.
helped create it.
Mhm.
And I tried to listen to the other characters, like Garp's character, not Kobe's character, because I didn't care too much for his voice actor because he's barely there in the beginning. And then there's and they don't even sound the same. The past Kobe to the later Kobe.
Yeah.
They don't sound the same. And so, hey, bro, Garp doesn't sound like Garp from the show. He's like, no, it's just the original 5, the 5 Straw Hat. Oh, I was like, well, when the other Straw Hats come in, are they gonna,
If they continue the live action, which
I
think they will.
They already got renewed for a second season.
Oh, nice.
Yep, Oda-Sensei is the one that said it too. He's like, I'm glad that everybody all over the world likes it. I'm
Well,
happy.
because so just to jump a little, it's because they pretty much kept it pretty close. I saw I think it was a TikTok of like the last 5 live action versions of stuff and on Rotten Tomato, and it was like One Piece was at like what was it, like a 75% or something. It was a really high percentage of goodness, and then all of the other ones are like 20%, 30%. Like they just flopped, right? And it's because they try to keep to the original, right? They try to keep to the actual spirit of One Piece. But okay, Zoro, really great. I thought he did a pretty good job, and he kind of looks like Zoro. They did a good job of picking someone who looked like Zoro. One of my complaints about Bebop was that Vicious did not look like Vicious. It was not the same. It didn't look like his character. It was weird in Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, he had a wig on. That's why too.
Why is this guy? This is not the right guy, right? But
Yeah.
that's a whole different story.
Yeah, their take on the
Sanji,
Taz.
Yeah. I think they picked a good person. And personally, I don't know about you guys out there, but if you disliked it, you let me know. Personally, I thought it was a good idea not to put the curled eyebrows. I think it would have been a little too much, made it too unrealistic, that it would have been kind of more of a bother to look at. So I actually like that they kept his eyebrows normal.
And I was just like, oh, that means that Sanji calls Zoro Mosshead,
Mm-hmm.
and Zoro calls him Twirly Brow.
Yeah, and I guess you can't make that same insult.
Yeah, so he calls him a waiter instead.
Yeah.
Because he used to, in the anime, he calls him a cook.
Yeah,
He waited,
Yeah, because he hated it. But I thought they picked a pretty good person.
Oh, he did some incredible work.
Yeah.
So Taz, he learned how to do kickboxing.
Uh-huh.
And he was doing cooking classes as well. So he did both of that. And then in between scenes, he would cook for the staff.
Right.
And so you can get better at it.
Right.
So, and then I saw on his TikTok, I don't know if it was his, but someone tagged him, but he was at sumo stables and learning how to sumo, because a lot of their movements is with their legs and balance. And so he was in I would say like a conga line, but I don't know the actual term for it when in sumo, but they were just pushing forward while keeping their soles on the ground. And they pushed forward in a line, like a conga line. And they went forward, and you just see him, and then you just see him hitting the post, like how sumo wrestlers do. And he's just like getting the balance in. And I'm just like, yo, this guy is dedicated to that. But I get it. You got One Piece. You have shoes to fill, and they're giant.
Yeah.
And so, give it up to Taz Skyler, because bro worked hard on that.
Yeah. So then there's the last, although he wasn't the last, I should have put him before, but Usopp.
Usopp, yeah.
So of all the characters, in my opinion, Usopp was the least closest resembling to his character. My biggest issue, which is interesting that I just said that with Sanji it was I'm glad they didn't put the curly eyebrows. I was actually upset that they didn't put a long nose on Usopp because it's kind of his thing. He has a long freaking nose, bro. And Usopp is the guy who plays him, Jacob.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you are way too good looking to play Usopp. Like, why did they pick you? You're Usopp is not the best looking dude in the group.
No, but he was an ugly. He just sounds that way because he's a liar.
Well, he is a liar.
Yeah,
But
he's a liar. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure Kaya in the anime and like in the series, she liked Usopp.
oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. You're right. Oh
And
yeah,
she's a rich girl, so she
I'm
probably
not
has her
look,
choice.
hey, I ain't saying ugly people can't get girls. I'm just saying that when you
Actually,
compare the
thinking
two,
about it, they're all pretty good looking, all of the entire cast.
well, I mean, they're all actors, so that's why. But
well,
well, I mean,
just so you know Alvida, she was the first pirate.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I recognize her, and I don't. I thought I did.
She's in a bunch of comedies.
Yeah,
the actress.
The actress. Yeah. But, well, do you know which ones?
I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Oh, wait. Oh, I just had it. Freshman, something.
The oh my gosh, Paulino is her last name.
That's the show I was thinking about. I can't remember what the show is called. Why is it? Yeah, she's super funny. She's hilarious. Her character in this show, which is what show is this?
I don't know what show that is.
Sex Life of a College Girl. It's all college girls. Her character in that is hilarious. So
I gotta check it out then.
It's so funny. But
you see her. I'm just like, because Alvida, she eats a devil fruit.
Yeah, she does.
You know, and I'm like, oh wow. I was just like, well, it makes sense because I was like, she's like great casting.
Yeah. I do agree. Yeah.
And I'm just.
But I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna make her, because doesn't she lose weight?
She does. She loses a lot
when she meets
and she gets older, I think, right?
Bobo the clown. No, Buggy the clown. Bobo. There is a Bobo the clown. It's not the same person. But Buggy, after when they both meet, I think she loses weight in the anime.
She does.
Yeah,
yes,
right. So that's good.
Actually, she loses weight a little bit after the final scene. You know, when they see Luffy.
But
and I don't know if it's losing weight or disappears.
She's just skinny. I know that
it's a devil fruit. I believe it's a devil fruit.
She has a devil fruit.
I'm not entirely. I don't remember. And yeah, so I hope they keep her on to that part, and because it was awesome. Like her frustration with Luffy on her boat. I'll just say, yeah, I get it. He's pretty annoying. Yeah. I get it.
Because you just you went over this.
Usopp.
Yes.
So yeah, the nose. I didn't care. Aside from you saying that he's a bit good looking for Usopp. That's the one thing. For me, he's too cool to be Usopp.
That is true. That is also very true.
I'm all like, bro is super cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, he has this swagger about him. And I'm like, Usopp does not have
that. He has none of it.
However, Usopp, okay, so Nami can get close to Usopp without Usopp going gaga over her. So much so that he just sees her as one of the homies. Like, literally.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the reason why the coolness can come apart. Because even Sanji, now Sanji's a perv. He's an absolute pervert in the
anime.
Yeah, in the anime, he goes beyond that. And a lot of people were gonna try to cancel Sanji's character for the live action. And I'm like,
how can you cancel one of the original?
That's who he is. He doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He just loves all women.
And the funniest thing is how they decided to make him just a dude that just picks him up. And I'm not like...
I do agree.
I was like, he's super cool. And then I'm like... And then you have Kaya kissing Usopp at the end of his episode.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, he's too cool. I was like, Usopp and Sanji are cool. That doesn't make any sense. However, they have their own quirks.
Right.
You know?
It's very shallow. Well, the word is not shallow, but it's like very vague, very like kind of, you could kind of see it, but it's not like in the anime where Usopp is very fumbly and a coward, right? He's always scared. Usopp the brave. And Sanji, yeah, is super pervert. Or no, maybe not a pervert. He's not a pervert. He's just overexcited to be around these young ladies. But yeah, neither of them were like that in the live action, which is kind of disappointing because that is their character. Buggy the clown kind of disappointed me.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Character
wise, I'm like, you're not Buggy enough for me. Buggy was like,
he's annoying and
loud and kind of, but he wasn't like that at all. he was very serious in
No.
in the live action.
No way. He wasn't that serious.
What?
He wasn't that serious at all.
Oh,
I mean, do you not remember when he was just ahead?
I know I do. That was probably the only part of him that was very buggy. Other than that, I was like, when they first meet him, I'm just like,
Well, he was
man.
actually also very evil in the beginning.
No, he is very evil.
And he made people laugh by force. I mean, a lot of it made sense. It was, and especially his CGI-ness. You know, I was just like, yes, they did Buggy nice, because I'm like, how are they gonna use the chop fruit? How are they gonna do that? I was just like, I was already having issues with how they're gonna do Luffy's. But now I got to think of
Buggy.
Buggy's one. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then even that last person that you see in the end of the series, episode 8, you see Smoker.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are they gonna do that?
I was just thinking that right now. I was like, yo, if Chop and Rubber is hard to do, how are you gonna do Smoke?
Yeah. However they find, or however they figure out how to use Smoker's ability, everyone else's ability is gonna be easy. You know, I'm just like, okay.
Ace would be kind of hard too with his fire ability.
If they can figure out with Smoke, fire should.
You know, so my wife was asking, because when they did the recap, or not a recap, but when they like flashback to Luffy when he's young, when he was with Shanks and everything, and he eats the devil fruit. My wife is like, what's that? What is he eating? Because she doesn't know anything about the anime, right? And I'm like, oh, that's the devil fruit. That's what gives him his superpower, his ability. He's like, what ability is that? It's like, oh, it's the rubber ability. He's like super elasticy. And she's like, oh, it's like, yeah, they're super rare, right? And she's like, oh, they are? And I'm like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of characters in the anime that have devil fruit. So I don't know how rare they actually are. Each devil fruit is very rare, apparently, because you don't ever, at least I haven't yet seen anyone who has two people who have the same ability. But I'm like, apparently devil fruit is pretty easy to find, because there are a lot of characters they come in contact with that just have devil fruit.
I think it's because it's on the seas, yeah. So they're always on the sea. I think so. There's a lot of devil fruit going around on the ocean, you know.
I guess.
And let's not forget that the devil fruit's been there for a minute. Or the devil fruits have been around for a minute.
She asked me. She goes, because there's a part where Luffy falls in the water, and she goes, he can't swim. And I'm like, no. And he's like, but he's a pirate. That's kind of stupid if he doesn't know how to swim. It's like, it's not his fault that he can't swim. When you eat devil fruit, you can't swim, because devil fruit, the ocean god, cursed people who eat devil fruit so that they become super weak in salt water, and they die, or they drown.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, then why would you eat one? It's like, he didn't know it when he ate it.
Yeah. And it was weird.
I can't say about everybody else.
In the anime, he eats it right next to Shanks, and in the manga, in the
live
action, he eats it in the treasure room.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, does this have the same effect? You know, but I'm like, whatever. He ate that whole thing like it was. That looked like cake, to be honest, because it was all. Like,
it did very look
shiny.
cakey.
Yeah.
True.
Well, in overall, like with Usopp. Usopp's character and Taz's character, they super cool. And then you have Zoro, who should be half funny, half serious, is all serious. And then you have Nami. Nami did a great job. I'm not gonna lie. She also is a big fan of One Piece. She's already caught up with One Piece before she even did the audition.
Yeah.
From what I hear. She likes an anime called Made in the Abyss, or Made in Abyss. And I never finished that. I watched like maybe the first 2-3 episodes. I wasn't into it. She liked it, right? And so I'm like, that's not a mainstream. You know, normally people say Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen.
When you know.
Demon Slayer. And she's like, yeah, we watch all that. And it's funny because Iñaki doesn't watch anime. So he was like, so he started to watch them. He's like, oh yeah, I watch Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like, I was like,
all
careful,
the mainstream
man.
stuff.
Yeah, a lot of mainstream stuff. Yeah. It makes sense that they're mainstream. It doesn't make sense because there's a lot that could also be mainstream, like this anime called Ashio no Tora, where this one kid and this demon kind of work together to become, like, they fuse. It's an incredible series, but they didn't give it as much love as it did. Like Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is now mainstream. Hunter x Hunter came out around the same time One Piece did.
Yeah.
But in 2011, the anime and the manga just stopped because the author. What I love about One Piece too is that they always have, like, what is it? The scenes from before, like when they were younger. You see, and then Sanji's like, I got an idea. Let's do like a call off or something on a ceremony. And then Luffy calls everybody up, and they put their leg on there.
On the boat,
and he's like, I'm gonna find
barrel?
the all blue.
Yeah.
And then you see the kid Sanji saying all blue like instead in
Oh yeah,
Kaz's
right,
voice.
right when it
Yeah.
says that part.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates, and you just see everybody. And so the first three, it was Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro. They went to their younger half, saying what they want to be. Then you see Nami with I'm gonna draw a map of the world, and you just see her just fascinated by maps. Usopp made sense because he never knew. He just wanted to be brave. That was his like main focus.
Yeah.
And which is what I hope that they focus on in the second season, because they do need to focus that Usopp isn't some kind of cool dude. He's actually afraid of a lot of things.
Yeah, he's a coward.
Yeah, he's a coward.
I mean,
he's too cool.
I do
Netflix.
agree. I think if they dropped the ball on one character the most, it was Usopp's character.
I don't know about dropping the ball. It's more like they don't have the ball to drop.
That's worse.
I think because
no, I do agree though that Usopp's character is probably the one that they like.
However, I love his character.
Oh no,
Don't get me wrong.
I thought he did a great job. But if you want to make a complaint that who didn't portray their anime character the most, Usopp would probably be the number one, because he is really cool.
Yeah.
While his anime counterpart is not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's cowardly. He's a liar. Very awkward.
Kind of sounds like this, Luffy.
Although his character is funny though, I do like his character,
it's funny,
especially when it has anything to do with Nami. Like, whenever anybody pisses off Nami, he's the one that interjects and goes, "Maybe you should stay away."
Yeah, and he's knowing what's gonna happen in the future, you could already tell that Jacob's working on Usopp character pretty well, because he's also a great shot. Right.
Mm-hmm. He's their sniper.
And I'm just like, yo, that's so cool. Yeah. As far as Usopp goes, yeah, you're actually right. Yeah, I think he is the furthest from the source material.
Although the scene of him against Chopper or Chomps, Chopper, the fish man.
Chew,
man. I had the part right. Give me a little credit. Partial credit. Half a point.
This guy says Chopper.
Chomper. I said.
You said Chopper too. Chomper. He had big lips, not big teeth, but it's whatever.
Chew, right? That scene between them two where they were fighting each other, I thought that was pretty dope.
Okay.
I was like, that was pretty close to the anime, because he did run away, and then he shot him with the fireball.
Hiraboshi.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, for the grade.
Yeah.
For the grade of this, I'm gonna have to give it an A.
An A.
I'm gonna give it an A, and I'll tell you why. It's hard to put all of that. They put 50 episodes in 8.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You know what I mean? They did a great job. Actually, no, hold on. I'm remembering something that made me give it a lower grade.
Dang it, we should have ended it earlier.
I'm gonna give it a B. Well,
we went from an A to a B?
Yeah.
Holy
I'm
moly.
gonna give it to a B.
Why?
Not even a B+. So, Luffy and Arlong are fighting in Arlong Park.
Yeah.
Inside the building.
Yeah.
Luffy says the most outlandish thing that I don't remember in the anime him ever saying. Maybe I can't defeat you, is what Luffy or Inaki's character said. In
the live action. Yeah.
Luffy ain't never say that before. He is all about the smoke. You know what I mean? He's all about, I'm gonna fight you. And he's like, maybe I can't defeat you. I was like, excuse me? Luffy, did you forget what you did to? Or, well, I would say, you don't know the... Anyway, that set me off.
By itself just drops
because that doesn't happen. Yeah. And I'm like, and it's funny too, because in the YouTube videos, people already assumed that like Luffy already knew he could beat Arlong. And these are just other people's facts. So it's not so... That's why I'm just like a little... So I give it a B because of that. That is a big issue for me because Luffy is always down to fight.
You're right.
And I don't think he'll ever say
he can't win.
You
know what? You make a fantastic point. I don't think Luffy has always been
about that life.
Well, he always believes he'll win every fight he gets in, right? He's never going to go in a fight that he doesn't think he's going to lose because he doesn't think he's ever going to lose. So yeah, no, I see what you're saying. So then, okay, then we'll just say Usopp was a lot closer in character than... I'm just kidding. Just because of that one line.
That one line didn't make any sense. But so correct me if I'm wrong. If they did it in the anime, like I said, it's not fresh. That first 40 episodes was not, or 48 episodes, 50 episodes. It's not fresh in the brain, all right? Don't come at me. So if he did say it in the anime, then I got mad at that. However, so if that's not the case, if that is the case, if he did say it in the anime, then the grade will be an A. If he didn't,
dang, that's a whole letter grade, people.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I actually enjoyed it for the most part. I always have issues when people want to change things, but for the most part, I think the changes they made, like bringing Arlon, is that the Arlong? Bringing him really early into the show, I was like, why is he here, right? And interacting with Buggy, I was like, what? And then he's the one who kind of destroyed the fish restaurant or the boat restaurant. Yeah, like I was like, what? But a part of me is like, okay, I get it. I kind of get it, and it really didn't mess up the storyline as a whole.
Yeah, because he got rid of Don Krieg early.
Yeah.
Mihawk
kind of just wrecked him.
Yeah.
The whole scene with Mihawk and Zoro was pretty cool. I thought they did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, I think probably my biggest issue was the first person that Luffy meets, the little sailor kid. Kobe. I think that was the biggest issue for me, because I'm like, why is Kobe in so much of this right now? In the live action, I was like, why is Kobe in so much?
He met Kobe.
Yeah, he met him. And that was pretty much where it ended, right? He met him. They went to the first Fort Marine base, and that was it. That's where it ended with Kobe, and you don't really see him again until for a little clip when he gets his first wanted poster, right? And that was pretty much it. So I was like, why so much Kobe? And then the grandfather, I was just like, I don't know who this guy is. So
yeah,
my wife was asking me too. It's like,
Garp is one of my favorites.
So. But
good casting with him too. He's from 300.
300, the movie.
The movie, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, he was the one that was like, "We'll fight in the ship."
You know? Yeah. I see. That was a great line in that movie. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty good. For the most part. The things that they changed that kind of bother me really didn't affect me as much as I thought it was going to as the show went on. But I did wonder why they were added. But I get it.
What was the grade you gave it?
I give it probably an A-. I think I give it an A-. Much better than Cowboy Bebop, sadly, because I really love Cowboy Bebop.
You know, I didn't really like the animation when I was young.
No, you didn't like
Cowboy, when I was a kid. Yeah, I was just like, it's boring.
Really?
Because there's a lot of parts where it's just inner monologue.
Yeah.
And there's scenes, like a lot of B-roll scenes. And I'm like, what is this?
Interesting.
You know? And then when it was a fighting, I was like, oh snap, it's fighting. However, like because it only came out like at 10, I was out at like 9 o'clock. You know, I used to sleep out.
I think this is gonna be our last episode, everybody. I didn't know you didn't like Cowboy Bebop. It was good seeing
As a kid. As a kid, as an adult, it's different because I understand what's going on.
The intro song, the jazz intro song, always got me. I was like, yeah, I love this song. This song is so good.
Right? Yeah.
So good. But yeah, A- is what I give it. And I hope the second season is just as good or even better.
Yeah. And I want it to stay consistent. So just as good is perfect.
And maybe make Usopp a little less cool.
More cowardly.
And Zoro a little bit more talkative.
Yeah, a little bit more forward. Yeah, especially with his complaints, because he doesn't complain as much as Zoro does in the anime.
Yeah, he complains.
Because Zoro complains a lot of little things, but when he does, he's loud about it.
I think his relationship with Luffy was pretty good. Like because when Luffy wanted to go down, Zoro's like, let's go. Yeah. Like he didn't have to ask him. He's just like, let's go.
Yeah. He's like, absolutely. And he's like, is it always like this when I'm with you? But nah, it was a good show. All right, well, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Anchor FM. You can listen to us every Monday on Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to check out our videos, and please leave a comment below. Don't forget,